My name is Gary Butterfield.
My name is Cole Ross.
And you're listening to Watch Out for Fireballs. It is a Games Club podcast.
And this week we are talking about Skald Against the Black Priory, which is an RPG developed by High North Studios and published by Raw Fury Games for the PC in 2024.
Yeah, Skald with a K, which is a kind of bard.
Yes.
Like a kind of which I knew from the Complete Bard's Handbook, 2nd edition D&D.
Was almost
a bard kit.
Was almost a class in the game, but then wasn't.
Yeah, didn't quite make it. This episode is special for two reasons. One is our premium episode for the month, which means everyone's going to get the generalities, and then patrons at $5 a month and up get the entire episode. And it's special because it was executive produced by Evan. Thank you, Evan. And it's special because it's sick.
It's sick. Evan brought us a real treat.
Real treat. Something, in the order of like a 22 hour CRPG doesn't happen very often. Yeah. And each one deserves a national holiday.
It really, really does. It's not perfect, No. We'll talk about ways that, but it's, man, I had a really good time with this.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
So you play as a mercenary sent to the Outer Isles of the Empire in order to rescue a childhood friend who has gone missing. This is Embla Baron by her father.
And this is a throwback to something we haven't really discussed. An era of PC RPGs that we haven't discussed, and also like specific ones. So like this is calling back to Ultima, Ultima 6 and 7. There's some D&D Gold Box in here. There's some Wasteland. Yeah.
A little Wasteland. There's a lot of Ultima 4 in the combat.
Yeah.
To this. It is very specifically that middle era that I want to get into, but I've never wanted to inflict it upon you because it will take a lot of adjusting. This game is in the family of updates to old style games that sand off edges.
This nestles in very comfortably with Infernax.
Crow Country, like a lot of games that just kind of take a modern updated take with the shorter, faster, sleeker, better version of old genres that people have a hard time playing.
And that is such a worthwhile pursuit. It is just a cool thing to do.
It's the highest calling a dev can do. I like it so much more than a narrative walking game about your grandfather's death. This is so much better. Just do gameplay. Yeah. It's also right up our breadbasket because it's a Lovecraftian story. This is, what if you were to take cosmic horror and kind of, serious Lovecraftian bullshit and put it into an Ultima.
Yeah.
As opposed to Richard Garriott's, marijuana fantasies and like, dreams he had from Roberta Williams sitting on his face, shit like that.
Oh, those oxygen deprivation dreams. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
New sensation.
So yeah, this is a top-down RPG. You navigate moving along a grid. You've got a party. It's represented by your lead character you've chosen, and you engage in this turn-based tactical combat, kind of on that same grid at the same scale.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more later to the combat. You do normal CRPG stuff. So you talk to NPCs. There are some branching dialogue paths. You learn about the world. You complete side quest. There are some puzzles, things like that. Little bits of added things. And the outcome of all the game systems, its role-playing systems, are determined by 2 6-sided die.
Yeah.
Because that's a small numbers RPG. The mean is 7, or the median, or the mean, I can't remember. The average. One of them. Small modifiers are big.
Yes.
If this were a tabletop game, this would be something like Powered Like the Apocalypse rather than D&D.
Yeah, you're not working in 5% increments.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's cool. Like, buffs in this game really, really count. Yeah. Out in the world, you've got these skill checks that are performed by your lead character, just kind of ambiently, like there's spot checks going on all the time, things like that. And when you're in a conversation or kind of this close-up interaction, you can designate a party member to perform the action that you pick in the dialogue.
Yeah. And this does both kinds. It does rolls and thresholds. So it does Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas style conversation skill things, to be very specific.
Man who does both.
Yeah, it does both. It does both generally when it makes sense. Knowledge things are not things you roll for, which is great because that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Your player character can be created on any of the available classes. There are a few surprises as to what would be available for you. So it's generally you gather a party. Stuff. It's a real gradient, though.
Yeah.
You have kind of fighter and rogue as martial classes, and then divine and arcane caster, and then a lot of gradients between them.
Yeah. And in those gradients live stuff where, like, you get a fighter who is really good at doing buff kind of things, but it's not casting. It's, this other thing called maneuvers, right?
Yeah. Or you get access to one class of magic, one school of magic, but not the rest.
Yes.
Things like that.
Yeah. And then you have the pure expressions. Like in this, my main character, because of a little tip you gave me, was a guild magos, which is just pure arcane. No combat feats at all, but had access to all 3 schools of arcane magic.
Yes. And as you might expect, divine magic tends to favor buffs and utility. Arcane magic tends to favor damage. There's a lot of variety to both.
Yeah.
There's also nature magic and bardic magic that come through and do things. There are a lot of spells in this game.
Yeah, a bunch, and they do a wide variety of things. And the magic schools make sense. So like the weirdly earth magic is kind of the most powerful in this, I found, or at least what I found the most use for. Specifically because of its debuffs, and that is the one where you can summon.
Summons are really big.
Yeah,
like an ECRPG.
Yeah, Yep. So that's you. The rest of your 6-person party is made up of story companions, who are characters. They're people with fixed appearances, classes, things like that. You can also hire mercenaries at certain points if you want to dedicate the coin to do that, which you probably should do. Not just because, a small party is hard to roll with, but those story characters come to you in a very specific order, and you can be left with some real serious deficiencies for like the first 5 hours of the game that make it very tough.
Yeah, you don't find a healer for a long time.
Yeah.
For example, this is the first thing I trained a mercenary to do. The mercenaries you get to craft from the ground up, and they cost more money the more of them you have. So the first one's a few hundred, but then they get more expensive as you go.
It's the further you go in, I think is what it is. Yeah, because the first one was like, hey, you can hire me for 300. And then like later on, it was like 2,000.
Yeah, they get very expensive if you want to completely customize your party. But you gain new party members basically throughout the entire game.
Yeah.
So as opposed to getting your whole party together and doing the game, you're going to continually get people. And then shortly after you get the last person, you're in the last quarter of the game. This game does not have a lot of fat on it.
No.
Classes, the first 2 story companions you get are a rogue and a fighter. Rogues in this are not weak. Like they're actually really strong offensively.
Oh my God, yeah.
So the early game can be really tough. If you didn't make a character balance with these. I chose the tactician character, the commander.
Okay, yeah.
Guy who does the buffs. I didn't know better. And did not have an arcane caster for almost the entire game. So you have to make do with what you have in the beginning there. It's really canny. They give you a rogue and a fighter right up front. So you get DPS and, kind of longevity right away.
Yeah. That officer class is really cool, actually, I think.
It does. Yeah. It takes a little while to get going. The early abilities are not super great, but eventually you get like, something that gives everybody a second attack in a round. It's really powerful.
So classes have different stat and skill advantages, but the primary differentiator is what feat lines they have access to. These are kind of separate skill trees, and at each level up, you get 3 points that you can invest as you see fit.
Yes. You invest these to get these skill ups, and this will unlock new combat perks and abilities as you go down. How refreshing was it to see a reasonably sized skill tree after like Cyberpunk? Like it's just one screen per character. The class has a set of upgrades. Like you can read what this character does just from looking at that screen, their entire arc and trajectory.
You can look at all possible spells within a particular school and think like, oh, these are the ones that seem useful. And I want to work toward this because, that distort mass spell looks like it's super powerful. And guess what? It is.
Yeah. Anywhere on the screen. No line of sight needed.
Yeah.
The other form of character advancement is gear. You upgrade your weapons and armor, equip magical accessories. These only give you pluses I think I found 2 that had special effects.
Yeah.
Generally, these just increase stats.
Yeah.
So they work as armor. They have soak. So they reduce the damage you take, and then they'll increase your stats. And it's one of the only ways to increase your stats.
Yeah.
When you level up, you get new feats, you get new skills and everything, but your actual base characteristics don't go up. There's a weird side quest at the end of the game that isn't really worth doing that can do that. Generally, you're going to do this through wearing different hats.
Yes. Yeah. The gear system is not very robust, and a lot of what you pick up is junk. Or a lot of what's available to pick up is junk.
It's not like a loot style thing where you're finding a bunch of that, but there is a randomization
it's
angle to it.
Boots of blank. Yeah.
Yes. You find these out in the world. You can also buy them from vendors. You can also steal from vendors. I like the thievery system in this. It's a little too forgiving, but I think the game is balanced around it.
Yeah.
If you steal, you have a chance of doing it. You have a target number, you make your roll, and then every time you steal, suspicion goes up. So it just gets harder the longer you do it.
Yeah.
And the other thing is you can't sell stolen items. So you can, if you're constantly stealing things and not working your other economy, you can run out of money for like food and shit. Things that you need to buy. There is food. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Thievery also, like, I didn't have a note for this, but like you have thieves' tools, and if you need to bust open a door or a chest, you can either choose to pick it or hit it. I like the way that they limit the hits, to smash stuff open, because each attempt costs 1 vitality.
Yeah, it hurts you.
Yeah,
to do it.
Which I think is a real neat way to do it. Combat. There are random encounters when you're on the overworld. These were not additive to me. I almost never did them, and I still ended up adequately leveled for the end game.
Yeah, it's worth saying this is, I'm sure it's a point later, this is one of the most robust difficulty selection option things. You can just turn these off entirely, which I didn't realize until late. I wish I had, because I would have turned them off. I stopped doing them about 80%, 75% of the way through the game.
I fought enough wolves.
Yeah, I also agree they're not additive.
Yeah.
It's part of the old school feeling of this. It is unnecessary. And if you want it, if you like grinding, like the combat system in this game, I think is fun. It's not fun forever.
Yeah.
There's a diminishing returns.
Yeah.
I did the same thing. One of the things is you want to, if you're going to run away from these, rather than turn them away, you want to make sure your lead character is your agile character.
Yes.
For this, or if you're going to intimidate, your runaway, if you're going to sneak away, if you're going to diplomacy, you need to make sure your lead character on the overworld is the one that you want to use, because you cannot switch.
Yeah, well,
in that menu.
Actually, you can.
You can.
Yeah. So when the window comes up that says, just here are the criteria, roll. You can click on the portraits over at the side and see who has the best advantage and have them be the one that does that.
I could do that in other things, but I couldn't get it to work in running away.
Oh, yeah. Worked for me. I did it a lot. Yeah. But yeah, out there on the world, you're taken to a small little map to fight the enemies. In a dungeon or a hostile town where I think the combat is good and additive, it happens when you run across enemies. They're just in the world, and then you get put into like a combat version of the map that you're in.
Yes.
You can get the drop on people, which is nice. Like if you're paying attention and your spot radius is wide enough, you will see them, and you can start the combat early to get a drop on them, which is nice.
Yeah, you can get a surprise round. And once you know that you should always be sneaking everywhere, you'll always get surprise rounds, except for story things. When we say this combat is a mixture between Ultima and Gold Box, the random encounter stuff is exactly out of Ultima 4.
Yep.
Almost literally. And the inside, the building's a little bit closer to Gold Box in that there's, terrain that matters.
Yeah.
So it's on a grid, that's in front of you with a level geometry. You begin by deploying your troops to starting positions. Turn order is determined by your initiative. There.
Something that I love, the little prompt, there are a bunch of prompts when it's like, okay, deploy. And it's like, death of honor.
Yes.
Blood will
draw
flow.
steel.
Yeah.
These things pop up. You have a certain number of movement points for your characters and an action point, typical D&D. Taking your action ends the turn though, unlike D&D. And you can use that action point to either move, or you can also opt to defend or save your action for the end of the round.
Yeah.
A way that this is a little bit different than a lot of things is that your special actions do not count as a move.
Right.
You can just do them. They're free.
Okay.
They have a cooldown, but they're free.
Okay. Yeah. I thought that the potions took up a movement point, but I guess that was a wrong
potions take up the maneuvers and stuff.
Maneuvers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Spells have a special thing we'll talk about in a couple of bullet points. But enemies and allies will block your movement. This is really important, especially because moving in the wrong way can lose you a turn. This was a little bit of a hump to get over. Like, you can swap places with an ally, but that counts as an action. That'll end your turn.
Yep. So you cannot swap and then attack. Also, if you disengage with an enemy, rather than getting a opportunity attack, it counts as an action. It ends your turn. So just walking away from an enemy will take care of that. And again, you can't move after attacking.
No.
Attacking also ends your turn.
And positioning is important, not just to keep your squishy folks away, but also rogues and bards get a backstab ability. This was how I dealt with bosses. It is so fucking powerful if you level up for it.
Yeah, if you spec into this, it's pretty broken.
Yeah.
Backstabbing, you don't have to try to determine the facing on these little blobs. It'd be ludicrous if you did. It's basically if an enemy is engaged.
Yeah.
With another character,
and it shows you
flank them.
It shows you an action or an icon, so you can know which direction to approach from. Yeah.
You melee attack adjacent enemies. Range attacks, such as bows and arrows, can hit anything within line of sight. Through that, very, very powerful. Spells have different targeting areas and areas of effect. And this kind of determines how useful a spell will be. There's like one class of magic that is melee range damage. That character is obviously supposed to go into the middle of it and not have a lot of characters around them. Yeah. And do things to them. Other characters attack from a distance. Other ones attack from any distance. As you mentioned, that distort gravity spell.
Yeah. And they're separated into those different schools there. This also took me a second. Casting a spell sometimes will result in something called a cascade. This lets you cast another spell or take another action after you cast, and these can chain.
Yes. This is primarily, I think, because there's not a lot of information about this. This came up more with my divine casting.
Okay.
Than my Magos casting. The Magos, I thought, had the unique, the spell burn ability to get back magic points.
Yeah.
So I assume that's how those two were differentiated.
Yeah.
But I don't know because this is not a very well documented game.
I was getting cascades on my caster, like on my arcane caster, left and right. Like I was just filling the entire map with gnats. That summon gnat spell the gnat spell is one of the most effective things throughout the entire game.
Yeah, fill it up with gnats. They do have that spell burn ability to get magic points back in exchange for health.
Yeah. Something that is cool is that this has the first time that I saw this kind of like tooltip system was in Crusader Kings, but it's present in Baldur's Gate as well, where, if you're unsure of what something does, you can click on that and it will bring up like a little mechanical explanation of what it is. So like it took a little bit of digging, for the prompt to get up in the right spot, but I did discover what this, how this worked through that.
Yeah. Yeah. As we mentioned before, there are special moves, these maneuvers. These are buffs, things you can do. You unlock these, and they don't take your action. They don't end your turn.
Right.
And this is primarily what my main character, the tactician, was doing.
Yes.
Both players and characters have a unique health system. Your first bar is vitality. This is regained really easily with potions.
Yeah.
And once that's drained, though, then you're in trouble. And you start taking damage in this thing called your wounds bar.
Yes.
Wounds, first of all, you'll die if you get too few wounds. This is also where you start getting injuries, which will cause debuffs.
Yes.
And these can't be addressed with potions. You have to actually rest.
Yeah. Also, it'll fuck up your portraits.
Yes. And your rest activities. If you're wounded, you can't do rest activities.
Yes. Yeah. So you do the rest activities by going to bed. If both of those bars are empty, you're downed, but they're going to get back up after that. So you can get to a bed. When you rest, you can designate some camp tasks to your party to get some kind of benefit. So like you can have your best crafter do some fletching. So you get arrows.
Yes.
Somebody with a high survival skill can go forage, right?
Yeah. And pick up rations. This is because when you rest, you need to eat. You have to have, when you rest, you have to have 10 food per party member or the rest will not heal you.
Right.
I expected to hate this. This really works, I think.
Yeah.
Working the food economy was fun until it ceased to, until I had enough food for, 1,000 little guys.
Yeah.
And until I obviated it. But it was fun up until that point. Those early hours when it's really hard scrabble, like foraging for eggs on the coast, to just to be able to rest because I need to, felt really cool to me. There's a whole complicated crafting system in this that is really extensive, that works in some ways and works less good in others. I like how it works with food. There are too many recipes.
Yes.
There's something about video games where they want you to really care about making like a stew versus a
broth,
a confit. Yeah. Like it's weird.
Yeah.
I don't get that. I understand it. I'm the outlier there. People love video game food.
Yeah.
For me, that is not super exciting.
I don't see why these adventurers who are trying to save the world need to whip up an apple pie from scratch on the road.
Yeah. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Especially, and then the, like many of these systems, the food gets more nutritious when you make it into a dish. Food can get more nutritious when you cook it, but there's no universe in which an apple pie is better for you than like 5 apples, except for this one.
Yep. Also like eating an egg on its own doesn't do anything for you, but cooking it into a mushroom omelet is one of the like most effective things. It's enough food for like 1.5 people.
Yeah. We split this omelet. We double team this omelet. We Lady and the Tramped it. You also do crafting for potions in this. And you can get recipes. You can also experiment.
Yeah.
You can find them. You can also, a reagent or a food will tell you what dishes it's made in.
Yes.
Or a reagent will, rather. So you'll get a eye of newt or whatever, and it will say an ingredient in a potion of this and a potion of this. You can put those together. To my mind, no shame in just looking those up if that doesn't sound fun to you.
Yeah. For the potions, that was, much less easy to intuit. So like, with the apple pie, it's like, I've got apples and here's some butter and here's some flour and sugar. Okay. Yeah. That's an apple pie.
Yeah. It's not even like intuit. You'd have to get out like a spreadsheet and start making a list of each reagents and where they, where they overlap.
Gary, I found myself doing that. And before I got like 2 cells in, I was like, you know what? There's probably just websites online.
Yeah. Good. Good, you're growing. This is called character advancement. You've done it. This is like Fallout 2. You have a little thing above your head. You can't see it, but it says, I feel like I've passed some kind of arbitrary milestone. But yeah, if that sounds fun to you, you can do it.
Yeah.
You can also play, because since loot is somewhat randomized, the recipes you find for food and potions are also somewhat randomized. And this can really fuck you if you're just relying on that, but it might be interesting from a challenge perspective. Like not all potions are created equal.
Right.
For this.
Yeah. Yeah, so we talked a little bit about the granular difficulty settings. You can turn off the food system if you want. Like totally just make it so, oh, if I choose to rest, I just heal. You can also like do something like, oh, I just want to, I don't want damage to carry over between combats. After combat, I want to be refreshed, right?
Yeah. It will fuck with the difficulty.
Yes.
I played this with default stuff, turned off, random encounters in the last like fifth or so, and it was a good amount of challenge for me.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't dying very often, but felt engaged with the combat. I love this make your own Sunday shit with this.
It's so
especially
good.
with a throwback game like this, because a lot of these old timey mechanics are, the one of the strengths they might have is a charm or nostalgia for someone. You can't force that.
No.
Accommodating for the idea that somebody might just inherently be like, it is bullshit that I have to worry about food. These characters just shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. Like, enjoy the rest of the game. Like, we're not going to force you into liking it.
Yeah.
You can't be tricked into appreciating it.
It's also, you think, oh, these old games were punishing difficult, et cetera, et cetera. Also, all of them have very exposed either cheats or console commands.
Yes.
And then there's also mods. So like the systems were more wide open on some of those than you would think.
Significantly more.
Yeah.
And this game, in addition to having those difficulty commands and the options, also you can hit tab and bring up a cheat console. It gives you 3 example cheats.
Yep.
Because it knows. This has been entirely like data mined and figured out.
Yeah.
You're actually fucking with the code. You can do a lot of stuff in this.
Yeah.
Here. And that is a really cute throwback to these old style games that were just, like you said, more open. People at the time, because games were simpler, were more familiar with the inner workings of their games. It's not quite where you'd buy a magazine and, copy the code.
Yeah.
To get a game in BASIC, but it's not that far removed from it either.
Yeah. And so it's neat. Like I have nothing against this. And, I'm glad that we have been consistent about this over the years. Whenever this kind of thing has been present, I think it needs to be applauded because,
I think that one of the differences with us when people talk about this kind of thing is that you and I are both able to set our own difficulty. Some people cannot.
Yeah. Yep.
Some people get frustrated by that concept, but I don't know if, I'm not trying to start the worst discourse of 2025. Is it a privilege that we that we're able to do that? I don't know.
I was gonna say I control what buttons I press, which to a degree I feel is true. But also it feels a little bit mean to say, especially because I've seen people raise it as a genuine concern. So
yeah, I don't want to be mean.
I don't want to be strident about it. Yeah.
For us, this works.
Yes.
Like I control what buttons I press. I control whether I do the hacking in Deus Ex Human Revolution to get extra XP. I'm fine with all of this stuff.
Yeah.
I will opt in.
Yeah. Let's talk about the aesthetics, Gary.
Yeah. This is a throwback to an era that does not get thrown back to often. From top down, it looks like Ultima 6. It's pixel art. It looks fine. There is some charm to it. Your character doesn't animate. He just kind of bounces. Love it.
Yeah.
But there is tons of work put into these splash screens, these cinematic splash screens that are really gory and fucked up.
Yeah.
Really good.
It's some of the best of this particular style of art that I've seen since Infernax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Your mileage will vary whether this just generally looks good to you, because it is a nostalgic, Commodore 64 style kind of graphic palette. But to me, this looks really cool and kind of importantly, doesn't look like anything else that I've seen. Like, again, it's when I say not thrown back to very often, like when we see retro games, there are a billion NES likes. We will never get rid of them.
Yeah.
But something that actually harkens back to this kind of computer era doesn't happen.
Right. With the color palette that was possible back then, right?
You can shift it as well. Like there's different color palettes you can change in the options for different old 80s microcomputers. and shit, in addition to one of the best looking CRT filters.
How did they do it? I never fucking use those, Gary. I
don't usually use them either. They suck, but this one looks really good. I think it's because the graphics are made for it. Like I think that the graphics, like I think it dovetails with the graphics, but the first level of CRT filter looks perfect.
It made the text easier to read. It made everything scan better.
Yeah, it's weird. They did it. They solved it.
Yeah, they have some that are kind of goofy, like, oh, here's like a broken black and white TV or whatever. But that first level is like, oh, perfect.
Yeah. And being able to go into the different colors, like going into a CGA, like give me the cyan.
Purple and cyan, yeah.
Yeah, God, I fucking love cyan. Give me cyan, baby. Very, very nostalgic.
Yeah. I love this soundtrack so goddamn much.
The soundtrack's incredible. The victory sting, which is a very short thing, is so catchy.
Yep.
It's really, really good.
The combat, just you hear it so much. But it is so incredibly earwormy, kind of like on all tempo scales too, because even like the chord progression makes like the roots of those makes a very fun melody too. Yeah.
It's a really good soundtrack.
Yeah.
And all of this composed by Tim and Eric ass name, Romanus Cert.
Yeah,
that's great. I like Romanus Cert.
Yeah. And they're on Blue Sky. I have their profile. I need to look and see what other stuff they've composed because I'm a fan.
Yeah, go Romanus. Mm-hmm. We're big cert heads over here.
Writing's pretty good. You know, main characters pretty well sketched. Dialogue works. Something that I ran into is once you know the influences, it's pretty easy to clock what's going to kind of how this is going to go.
Yeah. But it does ease you into that.
Yeah.
Pretty well. If you don't go into it knowing things. It also, the writing is good without a lot of text.
Yes.
Those games of this era that's paying homage to were not particularly wordy. This game isn't either. You know, every once in a while you'll read a couple of paragraphs, you'll find a book that's a couple of pages, but it is in like 40-point font.
Yeah.
You know, with like 10 lines per page. Like they do a lot with a little.
Yes.
In this. You know, when we say pretty good, we don't mean like Disco Elysium good.
Right.
We mean it does not make you cringe out of your body, and there's not a lot of wasted time.
Yes. Which is, again, a cool thing for a developer to do. It is a higher calling to be economical.
Yes. Blessed.
But it is also, you know the Lovecraft direction, but also if you know anything about Ultima or Might and Magic, you can also pretty much guess kind of how the last act is going to go as well. Yeah. So for the making of here, I pulled details from GameDeveloper.com. There was an interview there, also on a French site called RPG Jeux Video. And this is not a very well-documented game. There are Kickstarter updates that kind of talk about intentions and stuff, but as far as like wikis or just general about stuff, this is the only kind of source I could find.
Yeah. I had the same experience. Yeah. So this is a Norwegian studio. This is their only title. And it was Kickstarter funded, and the Kickstarter was launched in 2019.
Yeah.
Most of this is from one person.
Yes.
Not all of it, but most of it is from one person.
Anders Lauritsen. And she did that with help from a bunch of subcontractors, visual artists, obviously music and sound, a little bit of writing and code help, but primarily, just a lot of this is one person.
Yeah, passion project. It took 5 years to make, but halfway through, Raw Fury signed it. Signed on to publish, which allowed Lauritsen to go full time.
Yes,
with this.
Love it.
Yep. And the goal was to make a game that felt like an old PC RPG from the early 90s, but with accessibility. Again, the best thing that someone can do. Yeah,
and also very apparent when you get into it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
From the Shovel Knight trajectory, things that feel like a classic game without actually having. Without actually being. And this, specifically involved kind of cherry picking a lot of different design ideas from different PC RPGs, modern and from then. When this feels like an amalgam of those games, we keep citing, it's because there are little individual bits stolen from each of them. Not stolen, whatever the better word for that would be.
The world and story here are pulled from a tabletop campaign that Lauritsen ran.
Love it.
Love it. Especially because it does, it is not bog standard. when it comes to stuff. Like, and there is a lot of background material that is just kind of alluded to. Just like there are tooltips for the kind of mechanical stuff, things that are highlighted in blue, you can click and get just like a little like one sentence explanation.
It being one sentence is so good.
Yeah.
Like compared to the Virgin Dragon Age, where it's like a 2-page document.
And
you get 5 XP for reading.
Ooh, what's the reticulum? Okay, click this magical force that mages tap into. Oh man, sweet, cool.
Fuck yeah, there's the reticulum. I get it. Yeah.
You're so reticulated, aren't you? Yes, you are.
Yes, you are reticulum. Yeah, that's actually how the game ends.
You get reticulated, yeah.
Yeah, so reticulated.
I think one guy gets reticulated specifically. Yeah. I can't think of another verb for what happens to him.
Lordson planned to have more playable characters, but had limited testing time, and staff became an issue. I think this actually ends up being a strength. Mm-hmm. Every one of your companions can get accounted for in the end.
Yes. Yeah. And here's just a super sweet detail. A feather in Lordson's cap is he knows that Sven Vinke of Larian, developer of Divinity Original Sin 2, Baldur's Gate 3, has played his game. Mm-hmm. Love it.
Yeah. And has nice things to say about it. Mm-hmm. Didn't just play it and says and no further comments.
It is definitely one of the games I've played.
Yes. This has a 75 on Metacritic, which I understand this for a niche product. Like I like this more than that, quite a bit, but it is also for me.
Yes.
There are people who are going to be turned off of this, like just based on what it is, right? Reminds me of Grimrock too in that way. Yeah. Like the game is excellent, but some people are just not going to be able to, like, that's just not what they want to do in video games.
I've been thinking about Legend of Grimrock 2 a lot, Gary.
Same. I never beat the first one, which I've also been thinking about. Like, I don't like it as much, but I'm like, man, there's probably good stuff in there.
Yeah.
We don't know how well this sold.
Nope.
Yep. And a lot of the development time in this was making tools to make games like this. Mm-hmm. So like we might be getting other ones and fucking dip me in shit, call me Pinky. The idea of getting this kind of engine for a bunch of different genre stuff of games around that era, like that's very exciting to me.
Yeah.
Or if this gets released to fans, like somebody do a Dark Sun game in this engine, which is kind of like the Dark Sun game that exists, but this is easier to play. I want more of this.
Yeah. It's kind of hard not to geek out about this, right? Like, I wish there was a little bit more like effective variety in the way different enemies fought, but I don't know.
There's that. There's too much combat in it. There are issues with it, but this feels really special. And everyone I've talked to about it, like there are a lot of people in the Slack, specifically who are like, oh yeah, this was my game of the year last year.
Oh yeah.
Like nobody played it, but this was the coolest thing I played. Mm-hmm. And it just like last year was such a fucking wealth for this sort of thing between this and UFO 50.
Yep.
Like we just killing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And again, the highest calling.
Yeah.
Like I love it very much.
We're kind of doing some wrap up stuff here, and we'll definitely get to more later after we talked about it. But like, especially here before the break, before we kind of cut to, the end of the public section, like, I just want to say, like, I don't know, go like run, don't walk. Like if this at all sounds cool to you, it is as cool as we're making it sound.
Yeah, if you can handle tactical combat on the level of a Baldur's Gate or whatever, you can handle this. It's simpler, but a lot of the base principles are the same, and simpler enough in a way that's like closer to like a small Fire Emblem map, maybe. Like I think you can handle it.
Yeah.
It does a thing where there are random encounters. They are not as egregious or as frequent as they could be, and again, turn them off.
Yep.
And if you worry about that XP, auto win them with a button.
Yep.
And then just do the planned encounters. Like it wants you to play it. This is a very inviting game, and it wants to tear down your objections.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for listening. We appreciate you. If you're hearing this, it means you're not a patron. We still appreciate you though. But if you'd like to change that, you can go to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv.
Yes, you can. You get not just the rest of this episode, but full versions of all of our premium episodes, in addition to whole bonus shows. In the past, if you have been turned off of the Patreon because getting episodes was inconvenient to you, that's been fixed, actually. Now it's easier to get feeds of just the shows that you want because of a new Patreon feature. So.
More specifically, if you only listen to one of our shows and didn't like getting all of them at once, you can now do that as a specific feed. It only took 14 years of us asking Patreon to do it.
On a pretty regular basis.
Yeah. Basically daily pokes. And they're finally doing it. So that we made it easier. And there's also every month you wait, there's more stuff.
Yep.
You get all the old episodes, our premium. So you get this one, you get our one from last month as well, which was what we did last month?
Last month was, Gary, I don't remember things.
Why don't I remember that? It's not that long ago.
Yeah. That was January. It was January. The last month was January, Gary.
Yeah. No, I remember what the name of the month was. I don't remember what the game we did. Mario 64.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of people like that episode. Check that out. You can also listen to our other shows. If you can't support us on Patreon, we understand. You can leave us ratings, reviews on Apple Podcasts, Podcast Addict. You can tell your friends. We don't advertise. All that stuff is how we get more listeners. And you can join us in thanking our producer, Gwen.
Thank you, Gwen.
Yeah. And we will see you next week with The Dispatch.